And then we're somewhere.
Hello! We're gonna get started. Grab a seat. Hello. Woo! So,
They're starting to claim to be one of those things. How are you?
couple of things first. If someone in the back wouldn't mind looking at the, we're on a Google Meet call right there, and it's being projected. If someone can just click on the chat there and see if anyone is contributing to our discussion. I just want to make sure that anyone that couldn't make it here physically, thankfully, and is talking to us online, that they are getting, that they're part of the conversation. I also have a laptop underneath there, and I would love for someone to take notes on that laptop. If we can, I don't feel like crawling over people, so if someone can hand that white laptop, not on the bottom, it's actually, that one.
The first one was to record the meeting and then load that into AI.
I'm putting everyone right to work. Yes. Yes, I'm gonna put this all into AI, and then we'll be in the data sphere. Okay,
I can take notes. Or you want? Oh, they're taking notes back to your phone.
Yeah, if you don't mind, that would be lovely.
I got these little fingers.
These fingers were made for touching.
What sort of vibe?
Like synthesizer-y, I like auxiliary sounds. I like just making noise.
I literally took a class called Making Noise. The art and process of sound generation.
That's so cool. I have to
so
brain
great.
system about that. That's really interesting.
Or really pick Kevin Ernst's brain because Cornell Electro Acoustic. I'll also talk to Josh.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
Really just talk to Josh.
How did I make it go? Awesome! Yay! Yay!
No signal shut off.
Look at that! All right, so thank you all so much for being here. I saw that there were going to be 20-ish people on our invite, and so this is quite a bit more. So give yourselves a round of applause. Wonderful. So I'll just jump right into it. This is our very first meeting. And the mission statement that I made that is liable to being changed over time. The Ithaca Musicians Alliance is for people in the Ithaca area that would like to network, connect with other local musicians, find solutions to problems concerning musicians in the area, and learn how to better serve the greater Ithaca community. So who the heck am I? I moved to Ithaca a year and a half ago from Asheville, North Carolina. Woo woo! Oh yes, we need to talk. I was a part of the Asheville Music Professionals and the Asheville Musicians Alliance organizations. I moved back to New York to be closer to family, and I loved Ithaca since I was a teen. I came here when I was 14, and I went to the Autumn Leaves, and there was like a thrift store that was so super cool, and I got like these big black clown shoes, and I was like, this is where I belong. I am a private instructor in town. I'm a member of Metasequoia Standard Time, and I also do solo music. I saw an obvious need for an organization, and this is really important to me. The intent is group energy and group effort. I'm starting this today, but it's my intention that we all share and collaborate in this experience together. I cannot do it alone. Please help. Group energy and group effort. I don't have any big plans or dreams personally, other than putting our heads together to make Ithaca a better place for musicians to live. And I know I'm probably one of the only music theater nerds in here. All right, I underestimated. I'm so sorry. So, what we can do: improve the work in the area for all musicians, protect important local entities, easily represent the goals of the organization, connect to the larger community, have a place that's not on social media to meet other musicians. That's like a rare thing nowadays, and I think like the in-person connections are just so important to build that community. This is all very vague, but it's putting it in motion is not. So what this group is not, it's not going to solve all the problems in the area. Some of the problems here are baked in. So we have to do what we can, but we're probably not going to fix everything. It's not exclusionary or combative with other musicians, community members, organizations, or venues. It's not for professionals only. I got a lot of messages about this saying, well, I'm really concerned because I think that this should be for professional musicians. Cool, go make your own organization. Me, personally, the vision that I have is having enough people in the community to help us for any organized events that we do that aren't necessarily musicians themselves. So if that changes over time, that's totally the hive mind where we're heading, but that's what I think for this moment right now. And it's not for marketing yourself, and it's definitely not political. Silence in the room. What we hope to learn, are there other areas experiencing these kinds of problems? How did they go about solving them? So there's going to be some homework for us to do. I'm going to have some people researching these ideas and seeing if they can find any other places where they have the same kinds of problems. So we need to do some research. What are some actionable steps that we can take today to improve the situations that we're not happy with? What are some long-term goals? How can we inspire and educate community members about how to support their local music scene? And what other cities that are thriving musically doing differently right now? And they do exist. Mm-hmm. There were 68 participants. A few have trickled in today. 15 of the participants did not fill out the survey. Gives us a loose idea of some issues and goals. All participant answers will remain anonymous. And as much as I try to remain unbiased, I am not a researcher. No one trained me how to do this. I just like spreadsheets. So, this survey should give us an idea of how everyone is feeling, but it's not an exact science. And we will have homework. So, we're going to jump right into the survey. Do you feel that there are enough opportunities for you to connect to the local scene here in Ithaca? 37% said yes, 15% said maybe, 45% said no. Social media was the most often mentioned connection for other musicians. The second most popular way to meet other musicians was through gigs in town, which we're going to talk about in a second. Some have met through the songwriting group. Shout out to Eric. Thank you so much.
I didn't know that.
And the longer that the musician has been here, which I got a kind of vague sense. I've been in Ithaca for 40 years, it's like they felt a little bit more connected to the scene. Do you feel that there are enough performance opportunities in Ithaca? Why or why not? Well, this is bleak. 3% said yes, 26 maybe, 70% said no. Some suggest that only a few bands dominate the local scene. The word cliquey is mentioned several times in the survey, not surprising for a smaller town. The overwhelming majority said that they're very concerned about venues closing. So we're going to talk about that. I just grabbed one of these quotes. No, the venues are struggling. People cannot afford $10 to get into a bar and pay $10 for a drink. What gigs there are go to the same 10 bands. Many are not local. It's discouraging to new bands. So this is the moment where I'm going to open up the floor and we are going to talk a little bit about that. Any ideas so far about why there aren't enough performance opportunities? We're going to get to solutions in a little bit, but anyone want to just say what they're thinking about this?
Yeah, I'll just start. I think running venues is not cost effective for the venue owners.
Yeah.
We're seeing the biggest venues in town go under. The ones that are able to give guarantees can't afford to pay those guarantees. And the other rooms aren't even necessarily big enough for a venue owner to offer a guarantee. So I think I don't know sort of what is actionable about that, except that it doesn't seem to be sustainable for people to own music venues in this town, rents being what they are.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the folks who continue to own them are sort of mostly doing that like out of their own investment in owning a venue. So
Yes.
I think we have to figure out some ways to invigorate our venue scene.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Personally, clicking this, I guess, is why they only have 10 bands, because they tend to, because of what you said, they only pick bands that will have a draw.
Exactly.
That is a big issue with a lot of that. So some bands may be better or worse than others, but that's as the venue owners, they don't look at how good the band is. It's kind of like the real music industry. They don't look at how good a musician is, they look at how profitable they are.
Yep.
So if we were able to bring in a big crowd to the venue, then we will more likely get hired or asked to play again. But, do we rely on the venue to promote, or do we rely on yourself? Or do we rely on some organization to help generate the PR?
Yes.
Yeah.
So it sounds like the musicians, like, should the venue be responsible for promoting the band? Should the musician be responsible for promoting themselves? And the people that are going to bring in more people are the ones that get hired. Okay. Anyone else want to shout out? Yeah.
I think
I'm not a teacher, by the way. Well, not in this context. You just shout out.
everyone said here was right on. But I think there's other things to look at that are the cause of what's happening here. And I think to Ox's point, there's things where these, clubs can sell stuff that really, can be sold. So it's not necessarily always the truth of something that looks like it's going to draw actually is the best draw. There's some interesting inside information there.
Yeah, it's
But about the root causes of what's going on here, is some, the clubs not being able to stay open is not about maybe what it looks.
Like it's a deeper
They
picture, a
kinda-
bigger picture.
They kind of guess about the one thing I wrote down. What issues are baked in? And what are some of these systemic issues that we need to address?
Right.
I don't know what they are, to be honest.
So I also think there are a few places that are underutilized that could also be performance spaces that are not necessarily bars. And so this doesn't apply to the big venues. Like I would say Deep Dive is the only big venue really at the State Theater, but for the smaller venues, there are places like art galleries and dance studios and other community spaces that have enough space sometimes for, let's say, 40, 50 people, sometimes maybe a little bit more. And I think that some of the groups that are starting off that may not have a huge following yet, maybe this collective can be a little bit of the answer to that in doing certain showcases together at venues that don't necessarily have the pressure to sell alcohol or make a certain amount of sales. And then have it, I think that it would be unfortunate, but likely practical to predict that the same bands that you are used to seeing will kind of dominate certain venues or certain festivals. And so I don't know where the big change in that would happen, but other artists need to be developed enough to be able to compete with them as well.
Right.
the way it used. Go ahead, Tom. It used to be 30 years ago. For those of us that have been around that long, I mean, and it's died in that time frame. Even though we all complain about the haunt being gone, the new haunt, or the waterfront haunt. How you wanna call it. Those of us,
The music scene died.
by the time that they were shutting down and turned into a parking lot, they had stopped doing what the haunt used to do, which was have
and
live bands that didn't get paid unless they brought in enough people, because the first person to get paid was the sound guy. And then after that, you got to keep money, which is fine.
Yeah.
But the point is, you that's how you developed a draw. Is they would have bands in there 6 nights a week, up to. And then they went, and Pete Panic and the Nines would do the same thing, but the poor man had to retire. He got old.
Yeah.
I mean, and that place also had the open jam, the blues jam and all that stuff. There used to be those places that did that for the longest time, and they were doing well enough to stay open. I mean, especially if you're not paying the band, but the people are coming in and buying the drinks, and yes, inflation was less drinks. You could get a beer for $3.
Yeah.
A good beer for $3. Or whatever. That happened. And then there was a different change too, I noticed. For a while there, even when the Range and Lot 10 or the upstairs or whatever you want to call it was open simultaneously with the Deep Dive, there was the same company, the same production company booking for everyone. And they weren't booking all the nights they could book. Even if they did, a lot of the stuff was, it's not even so much as out of town. I mean, it wasn't even in the county. It was, if they were doing it in a town that used to never really get cover bands. That was the other thing back in the day. It was all original music. That's what they wanted. That's why Ithaca bands don't play in Cortland, and Cortland bands don't play in Ithaca, because Cortland bands are cover bands. You're a bar band. You go, you play. You start your gig at 9. In the old days, you start at 9. You get done at 2.
Yeah.
End of the day. Now the later ones, there's 8 to 11 if you play at the Cortland Beer Company. But the point is, that's a cover band. Yes, you play in Cortland, you can slip in some originals, but you better have covers.
Yeah.
Here, it used to be you played originals.
Yeah.
That's what you did. And then for a while there, all the Haunt was doing was, we'll find some, dead tribute band to play. And granted, I mean, I went to the Dark Star Orchestra show recently, so I'm not gonna lie, but when that's all you're booking on the weekends, forget about the other 10 bands that are gonna play all the gigs that are there. If you're taking some of them up with some traveling dead show, it takes away from openings there. And then there's the other niche places that are having problems, like what is it, the Ithaca cidery place that the neighbors are giving shit, so they can't play. They're having to cut back their deals. I mean, you restrict. I mean, again, Pete did his own booking. The people that were running the old Haunt would do their booking. The people at the Ranga would do their booking.
Yeah.
The ABC Cafe. There was, there used to be a publication. It was put out by Billboard twice annually. Had like every state, every province in Canada, every Mexican state, every bar, venue in each of those things was listed.
Wow.
The Ithaca area had 4 in there. Peoria, Illinois, which I know for a fact because I was playing in a band back there, had 0. And Peoria had like 140,000 people at the time. And Ithaca was half that when school's in session, maybe. But 4. I mean, it was the ABC Cafe, the Haunt, the Nines, and the Rongo over in Tiber. And that's, Castaways wasn't on there, which eventually is now the Deep Dive, whatever. All those places that have been there. Things have changed on that ground, but part of it's because they're not necessarily making the money. And that's okay. Don't pay the bands as much if they don't make enough to pay the sound guy. That makes sense. You got a thing there, but just having the places for bands to try to break in and develop a following would help.
Yeah.
And
It's
and also everything now is the people that are booking, everything's got to be through email, and none of them answer email.
Right.
That's fact.
Yes.
You can't go in and give them your cassette and come back.
I think
a couple
Nick
days
was
later.
going to say something
I
first.
just wanted to circle back on the smaller venues idea, and a lot of this I think comes to lack of communication from the venue owners as well, which I think would help out the venues that are struggling or the ones that have not been utilized to the full effect that they could. I've lived here since 2018, and just in that short period of time, I've made contacts in certain venues and have lost contacts at certain venues because either the promoter or the booker's not consistent, or they don't share information with the next booker. If there was like some sort of resource like how we are as musicians right now organizing to try to coordinate this. If there was a way to bring in these venues to have a representative so they can also have an input to say like this is what we need, or like we also want to have new acts that we don't know about but we never get a chance to because either they aren't able to get contacted by people or they just have someone that's new in the position and they don't know where the information is. I think a lot of it boils down to not knowing where to find the information to find a variety of acts, because there's a lot of faces in here that I've never seen before, and I've lived here and I've been going out quite frequently, and that's a good thing, because that means the scene is bigger than it leads itself on to be.
Yeah.
And
So to kind of
Go ahead.
To kind of propose a solution to that, one of the things that we're doing, so I don't want to feel like I'm advertising, but I have no choice but to. So my name's Alina. I'm going to be taking over the watershed and downstairs. And also SK House. And we're not going to have the private rooms that we had in our last location. So what I've been doing is essentially donating a lot of the sound, karaoke, and like different AV equipment that I've had in the private rooms into kind of like pop-up locations around town, so that some of these spaces that are underutilized, in that they are at their capacity too. So for example, we have art galleries and dance studios and potentially a mixed office space, which are not spaces that would normally be in operation during hours of karaoke, and can benefit from doing events without having the pressure of being like, oh, I gotta make at least $500 in bar sales to even like make this worth it, or charge a certain amount to make it worth it. So I was really delighted when Kylie put this together, because she is the one that got the first Ithaca youth band up and running through K-House, which was through a similar initiative where I was like, I have this empty space, I might as well use it to like help this like almost like musical economy in Ithaca. And I'm glad that a lot of people have brought up that, you know, a lot of venues, because of the high rents and the situations that, you know, Ithaca very specific and nationwide, there is a pressure to only be able to book successful bands that will be able to meet certain guarantees at the bar, so that the bartenders can get paid, so that I can pay rent, and so on and so forth. But part of what I'm doing with the pop-up concept is that having all of these locations already have speakers and some sort of like sound ready. If they're ready to host for karaoke, they're also pretty much ready to host small music events, whether they're DJ events, quartets. I know that in the Mixed Art Studio, I think, Jesse, you performed there recently.
That's what we've been doing, like creating pop-up events and doing similar things you just described, and everyone's talking about.
Yeah.
And the thing is, a lot of these people who have these venues don't have the capacity to also be like, I'm also an event space that I could do events. Like they are like, I'm just concentrating on my dance lessons, or I'm just concentrating on selling art, and I don't have like the bandwidth to handle marketing this as an event space. And so if we are successful with what we do with our pop-ups, we'll have a handful of venues that could host karaoke, but also be able to host small music events and, you know, culinary events and DJ'd events, and kind of just be mixed use spaces all over for all kinds of entertainment, not just live musicians and karaoke.
So to that effect, this is kind of the issue we're having. Should there be one group or one organization that you can go to get all the information, or will that lead to the issue that we're having where they're only looking for social acts, or do you just rely on the individual venues to say what they're doing?
Right.
So should it be all one, or everyone individually?
Right.
What's really better?
Like a consortium.
I think a problem also is like there's this huge disconnect between just the community overall. Like I can't remember your name you brought up. Like people live here and don't even know. Like you know, I lived here all my life and haven't seen a lot. You know, so definitely disconnect. And I think what hit y'all with the 2 Ds, and also diversity. There's not enough of that.
Yes.
I know that we're talking about a lot of bands, but there's also solo artists too. So I think that
Right.
that's also hard because it's almost like you're pressured to start a band to even become relevant.
Absolutely.
So
I feel that as a solo artist.
So yeah, there's that. But like I'll just put myself in the hot seat. Like I've put on like shows and stuff like just for like as a solo, and it's hard.
Yes.
And it's hard to even like try to perform like a whole set like solo, you know. So I just want to say that that's also a problem as well.
Yeah, absolutely. We have lots of ground to cover, so we'll and there's a lot of stuff in here that we are going to cover. So I'm gonna take like a few more, and then we'll get yeah.
So last August, a friend and I threw a dance event at the bridge, the Troll Bridge, if any of you know it. I know that Aaron from Practice Out has done stuff there, so has Heather from Motherward. It's a really awesome spot. There's like zero governance. So like before we did the event, I had to like talk to Aaron and some other people to find out like, is anyone doing a thing this day? Because we don't want to like double book when there's no like real booking thing. Anyways, it got me thinking that it would be useful to have some kind of registry or something. And I'm hearing now that like a lot of artists don't know where they can play, and a lot of places may not know what artists are available.
Yes.
So having a thing where there's like artists and also venues, and then you can list like, this is what I play, and these are my terms, or this is like what we offer.
Yeah.
Something like that I think would be useful. Yeah.
There are a few websites that come to mind. One is Janelle Bradshaw's FLX Music. Definitely check that out if you haven't already. And one is ithacamusic.net, which we're going to talk about a little bit more. But those FLX Music hosts all of the all of the ones that she knows of, all the live music in the Finger Lakes area, and the ithacamusic.net is a directory of a bunch of musicians in the Ithaca area. So, So, can you explain what the heck is the Troll Bridge? I'm still new to town.
Coming in at 13, like you haven't quite got to Home Depot yet.
Okay.
And you notice the 13A offshoot, the intersection.
Okay.
So right after the intersection, there's an overpass, and you may not realize it's an overpass, but it is. And underneath that is like a walkable area that leads over to Buttermilk Falls. Well, the walkable area underneath is kind of like an impromptu skate park, but also makes a really cool venue for small pop-up events.
That is the coolest thing I've heard of yet. Like, you weren't kidding, it's really a troll bridge.
Yeah. The trolls aren't behind if you bring your own.
Alright, so somebody else I saw raise hand, yeah.
I don't know if I'm gonna regret saying this out loud because I don't want like a bum rush, but I am from Angry Mom, and we do host shows. We are first and foremost a record store, and when we moved up into our new location, which if you guys don't know, it's still surprising to me, probably not for the people that have been here for decades, but that people in Ithaca don't know that there's a record store. We used to be in the basement of Autumn Leaves. We hosted music then, and then we elevated up to the second floor of Autumn Leaves, took over the Workers Center, and then where 10 Forward Cafe used to be. Mm-hmm. And we saw an opportunity to host music on a regular basis up there.
Cool.
So we are going into our third, fourth year up there, and we were very gung-ho about the first year.
Yeah.
And not to dilute it, but we proceeded to have some of our best years internally as a shop and online. So obviously our attention, which we promised ourselves internally, was we are first and foremost a record store. Mm-hmm. So we saw kind of a drop off internally. We've pulled off some amazing shows that we are all proud of. We are very excited to host the majority of our acts are local, but we have also done a lot with Practice at this past year, and it's worked out really, really well. So I'm not going to go on forever, but for people that are interested, It's just a DIY space.
Yeah.
We don't have a sound guy. We don't have a stage. We just got lights. We just got a soundboard. We just got speakers that stay there. Anybody is welcome to approach Angry Mom. And when I say approach, we literally have a physical calendar about that size that we just write on and somebody will be like, do you guys have this open? And we'll be like, ooh, let's go over and see. And then the second question usually is, well, can you guys build the bill for us? And we don't do that.
Yeah.
There is Seven who works. Seven is a born and raised Ithacan. He has kind of he's in the very hardcore noise and harsh music. He kind of books those shows, but outside of that, it's everybody coming to us, and it just has to make sense. And when I say make sense, it doesn't have to be a band. It doesn't have to be a rock act. It doesn't have to be a harsh noise or punk band. It just has to make sense for the area and for the timing. So with that being said, we are having another meeting next week internally to come up with more of like a point person.
Sure.
If it's just, I know someone said they don't answer emails, but we're going to come up with a contact and a way to streamline and make that a lot more fluid. We don't do, just to finish this out, we don't do guarantees.
Yeah.
We don't take any money.
Right.
All we do is provide a space.
Nice. Thank you.
You can hire a door person. You can use one of us. We keep the shop open, and that's it. We don't take any money at the end of the night. All of that money goes to the artist. However you divide it up, that's up to you guys.
So something that I would like to propose and think over it is maybe this organization can help you to organize that, and instead of you having your point person, you don't have to devote any energy toward it unless you want to. And that our volunteers could help you to organize that space for you. But it's just a thought.
That's a great thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I
thanks.
also like that. Sign up for that service.
What's that?
Can I sign up for that service?
Yeah, right.
It does sound like having a overarching entity that takes care of the promotion and the booking is preferable, even if there are some issues with having one single group control the booking and all the venues.
Yeah.
I feel like that's really the crux of it. So if I have the individual venues and whatever business considerations, I have one overarching entity that takes care of all the booking and doesn't really have to consider the business aspects of it because that's not their gig.
Yes. It would be the kind of thing that would be a delicate process because we don't want to inundate, if there's like some kind of shared like calendar or spreadsheet, we don't want to inundate it with too many people. But at the same time, it needs to stay organized and there need to be enough people that know about it in order for everyone to stay informed. So we will think on that. But we're going to get back to my whole presentation because we have a lot of ground to cover, like I said. Let's see. Okay, so what do you believe are the qualities of a healthy music scene? I put all of words that people used into like a visual word. You know what this is. Community, venues, audience, pay, live music, right? Collaboration, responsiveness, equity. This says low stress. Low stress. I want to make sure. Inclusive, participation, communication, appreciation. So all really beautiful, positive words. I really feel like this should be, when we look back at, I don't know, like a year from now if this organization still exists. If we look back, can we say that some of these words have become more important to us, right? Or more alive? Okay. Do you feel there are enough resources in the area to deepen your musicianship? Are there enough workshops, open jams, recording studios, producers, educators that are accessible in the immediate area that are there to help you when you need it? 53% responded positively, 30% responded negatively, 14% maybe. From what I know personally about the music educators in this area, I am booked to the brim. I cannot take any more students. And I have a lot of people on my wait list. I'm not going to number drop, but I got here a year ago, and I think it's insane that so many people are in need of lessons that can't get it. So I was really surprised to see this number to be as high as it is. Although y'all aren't music educators like me, I assume there are some people in here that are, but not, primarily doing it as a living. So. But especially like the recording studios, people had a lot to say about that. And also most of the resources are expensive. I think there's an abundance of these resources. However, I think money is a huge barrier for a lot of people, right? And if we're not being paid for the gigs that we're doing, then we're not going to be able to afford the resources that we need to become better musicians, right? I also think there could be more opportunities for folks just starting out in gigging. So, moving on. Did anyone else want to just chime in about that real quick? Say like 3 folks? Yeah.
I just wanted to say something about the last one as well. Does diversity also include variety?
Yes.
I felt like that was one word that was missing.
Yes, we're definitely going to talk about that.
So I guess diversity and variety in a way are the same thing.
Yes, absolutely. Anyone else? Sorry, Ox, did you have more to say?
Part of the reason why it's so expensive is that a lot of the people that create those opportunities also have to pay for the building or other similar expenses, so that's why it's so expensive.
Absolutely.
Maybe if it was I don't know, because there are some spots that are sort of, they're able to do all that stuff on one spot, but then someone still has to pay for the building and the space. And I don't know if we can create a lower cost space to host those opportunities.
Yeah. Well, I have more to say about that, but it's actually on another slide, so I will wait. Sorry. Yes. Thank you. Does anyone else want to chime in? No? Good? Okay. All right. Do you feel the scene supports LGBTQ musicians? Why or why not? 75% said yes, 22% maybe, 2% said no. It seems like there are a fair amount of events specifically aiming for the LGBTQ community, which seem generally well attended, at least by that community and allies. And I think I've seen some other efforts at inclusion across the scene, but I'm not sure if it's small pockets of it here and there or if it's more broad support. I'm also not sure about equity, like if there's equal opportunity for professionals. That last line, yeah, I think is really, really interesting because featuring professional LGBTQ musicians in any town seems like an important initiative to me. But I don't know a ton about that, and if anyone else wants to chime in, I would appreciate that. No? Yeah.
I think there's a difference between the community being supportive and LGBT events. Like, they're very separate.
Yes. That's exactly it.
The presence of LGBT events doesn't mean that the community is accepting, and vice versa.
Yes. Yeah.
I guess like just to delineate that.
Yes. No, I think that's really
I
important.
don't want to make any value judgments.
Yeah.
About like how Ithaca falls into that spectrum, but I just want to like make us aware that they're different things.
Yes, yeah, and that's my feeling too. And I know that we're all invested in getting more gigs. I know that we're all invested in wanting to make the scene better. But if we don't support our BIPOC musicians and our LGBTQ musicians, then we aren't doing our job fully. So, okay, let's continue on. Do you feel Ithaca is a good place to be a musician? Why or why not? 54% said yes, 17% said no, 28% said kinda. No, the way, well, this is for the no category. the colors. No, the way artists are treated here makes it impossible to be a full-time gigging musician. Before I moved here, I was able to do so in areas with significantly less population, variety, and culture. There's an air of gatekeeping with some venues, and they tend to favor bands that will work for free with less experience rather than invest in quality entertainment. So that's one take. This is for the yes column. For an amateur, yes. Lots of opportunities at open mic and Porch Fest to get started. Then it's just a matter of, are you good and are you self-advocating? I'm also lucky enough to be in a single band for 5 to 6 years, not needing to form another group, which sounds very frustrating. I will say, I do appreciate what this person says, but the first thing that comes to mind is part of that self-advocating, part of the marketing that we're expected to do as musicians, I think really is
exhausting.
Exploitative, soul-killing, exhausting. I actually think, personally, what it boils down to me is money. And people that are able to have a more economic lift. I can't think of words right now, but that are able to afford the leisure of time are people that are able to promote things and people that are able to do the intense work that it takes to really adequately promote yourself well. So I think that is a class issue to me, but that's just my thought. Yeah, did you have something to say?
Yeah, it's also a completely different skill set. Like, you might be able to play an instrument, but like making a video for TikTok is like totally different. Yeah, like learning how to make it period, and make it make sense and make it reach people is like completely different than just like,
absolutely,
I can write a song.
Yeah, absolutely. I get that attitude, like writing my own music. I get really blocked when I'm like, I don't want to be a producer. I just want to be able to go in and like record the song somewhere, but I can't afford to like go and record an album. I can't afford. So it's like there's barriers.
And every hour you spend promoting is an hour you're not spending practicing or doing best.
Yes. Exactly. Yes. Okay, and back to maybe, probably, but I get the sense of a lot of people expect to make a living by performing locally full-time and recording their own music, and that seems much harder. There's probably a lot less capacity for that, and even for teaching, hired recording, playing, and other professional industry stuff than there are people trying to do it. Okay, so just like maybe like 3 quick thoughts on this slide, if anyone has anything to say. Yeah.
I think talking about like I was able to do so in areas with significantly less population. Ithaca has a lot of musicians for the size of our community, but it also feels like we have a shortage of venues that are suitable for music and have the acoustic. Like, if you play any acoustic music, you need acoustics of a room.
That's right.
That's like such a hard thing for me as a brass musician to have a room that sounds good.
Totally.
That's like
Play quieter.
Yeah, play quieter and into a mic.
Yes.
That's literally what I have to do.
Whisper. Wait. No. Yell.
Yep.
Just in this spot. And then.
And even a singer, like
Yeah.
we're
Yeah, it's true.
not always like it's not just the room. It's like how is the sound equipment
Yes.
like
Yep.
in the space?
Yep. Yeah.
Is there sound equipment in the
Is
space?
there sound
Yes.
Yes,
I heard that a lot.
Yeah,
on
like
yeah.
it goes down to the nature of cost, and like it's intensely frustrating that there are so few spaces that are actually set up to have music, like
Yeah.
places with music stands. There are very few places that actually provide music stands that
Yeah.
are not educational institutions.
Yeah.
There's so like chairs that function.
Yeah.
I'm just like going to the lowest of the low. Like,
Yeah.
I just want to be in a room with a chair.
Yeah.
Like, and not sound terrible.
Yeah.
And I feel like there's a shortage of those spaces, either because they were closed down, as someone brought up earlier, or that we're just not thinking of the places that are alternatives.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
As Alina was saying.
Yeah.
But I think that there's a big difference for something like karaoke than,
Yeah.
I don't know, like I play jazz a lot.
Yeah.
I guess a lot. I blame Paul. Yeah, it's jazz, classical, anything that relies on the acoustics of a room.
Yeah.
Sure. It's intensely difficult to find places
Yeah.
that both want us and have that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's true. It's true.
Well, I think
Yeah.
what you just said to like places that want us.
Yeah.
I think something that hasn't really been named is buy-in from the community at large, like not just music venues,
Yes.
but like
Yeah.
why are music venues struggling?
Yeah.
So I think there's a really kind of foundational question around like what makes a local music scene healthy, and it has to do with community buy-in, like members of the community value local music and show up for it.
Yes.
And
as someone brought up in an earlier slide, have money to do so.
Right.
yeah, well, whatever that
Yes.
means.
Yeah.
So I'm just like putting that out in the space because that hasn't been named.
That's why
yet.
we need to do a little research to see what music scenes are thriving and why. Just a thought. Yeah. Oh, there's so many people.
One thing that, to your point, that hasn't been talked about a lot is the third part of this holy trinity of musicians and venues. It's media.
Yeah.
And I know Jim does a great job trying to, tell everybody of every event that's going around in the surrounding area, and we need more of that. I think that would, if people were aware of more things and it was advertised more to them, and I know I'm saying the A word here, but it's the necessary evil.
I'm just gonna jump in for a second. I'm just here specifically as part of community radio.
Yes.
WRFI.
Hello.
And the reason, like, a few of us came here tonight was to, like, kind of make connections to get more opportunities for local musicians to get on the air, to show up on shows, to play live in community radio. So that's, we're here, and that's what we're trying to get going on.
Well, you're in the right place. Yeah, Mandy.
I'm just going to say very quickly that this space is also making efforts.
Yes, makerspace.
Yeah, this is the makerspace is making efforts to sort of collectivize resources for musicians. So Ashley Cake from the downstairs has been talking about bringing some sound equipment over here. And I think an opportunity that we have with an organization is to collectivize some of those things that are more challenging for folks, like running our own sound. Having access to that equipment is expensive, and sometimes people don't know how to operate it. So having some directories of folks who are available to ask to operate shows, some sort of directory of equipment that is available for renting or for access, hopefully at a low cost.
Yeah.
Those are things that Maker is working on, and also some sort of promotional elements to our artist collective. So trying to find people who are willing to use their skills at promotion for the music community. So definitely
absolutely.
Get on the maker mailing list as well, because I know Mackenzie Jones is also working on that. And she is actually a professional media person.
Gear exchange, instrument library.
Yeah, and these are all things that Maker is working on.
Yeah, that's great. Just jump on.
Can I jump in?
Oh yeah.
I'm Megan. I'm here as a musician, but I also work with the Community Arts Partnership, and I just want to make sure you are all aware of the Strategic Opportunity Stipend. It's a grant program, and we're accepting applications till February, but it's